Hi, guys. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Here Comes the Drama. It is officially launch day of my brand new book, Here Comes the Drama, A Ferris and Sloan Story. And I'm so excited to share more with you guys and have you officially read the book. Starting off, I just want to say thank you to everyone that has pre-ordered the book already. If you got an ebook, it will be automatically sent to your device. But today is the official sale launch of the printed book. And I want to get to that in a second. First things first, I want to read a podcast review and just thank you guys for listening. This is from Debbie1213. It says, absolutely love the podcast. I have enjoyed your skits and cannot wait for more Ferris and Sloan. I had to do a Ferris and Sloan review one because this is all about Ferris and Sloan. Now, kind of like the pre-launch episode, we're going to do things a little bit differently, but of course, I'm going to end on a very juicy, crazy story. I've not read it yet, but it's one of those long ones with lots of crazy detail, so we will get into that one. But first things first, let's talk a little bit more about the book. I'm not going to do a crazy deep dive because we've done tons of Q&As, but of course, I'm always here to answer more questions. I'm so excited. I can't believe this day is finally here. I'm recording this a little bit earlier, so of course, it still feels very surreal for me. If you're watching the video, you'll see this is my printed proof. So of course, at the time this comes out, I'll have my actual copy. But it's so exciting to see. We're still making some changes to it as I record this, but you guys will have the finalized version. I'm going to read a small segment in it for you guys today too. I'm going to leave off where I did on that last pre-launch episode, just to give you a little more teaser. Most of you guys, if you got part 1 in your email, you might have already read this part, but I'll add a little extra while I read here. So leaving off in part 1, where the mom, Kate, and Jenny were off basically, and she's trying to talk her up to kind of get her back into the room with Ferris and Sloan. She just found out they're going on vacation. So here we go. Great. Jenny gives her a swift thumbs up and gestures for her mother to follow her back into the living room where the others are. Jenny is the first to step back into her parents' living room, where she spots her brother Ferris at the fridge, grabbing 2 beers, one for their dad, Ted, and one for himself. The room is warm with the scent of Thanksgiving leftovers, and the muffled hum of conversation drifts into the dining room. You need more wine, babe? Ferris calls out over his shoulder, his voice casual but affectionate. His short, faintly golden hair with brown undertones is slightly tousled, a few strands falling into his face as he reaches for the fridge. Sloan is curled up on the couch, legs crossed, swirling the last bit of red wine in her glass. Her long, almost black hair drapes over one shoulder, catching the warm glow of Christmas lights. She's wearing a soft knit sweater dress in deep burgundy, paired with thick socks, comfortable yet casually stylish in a way that always seems natural to her. She looks over at him with a small, knowing smile. No, I still have some left, thanks. Sloan smirks and turns just as she notices Jenny walking back in. Oh, hey, is everything okay? Her eyes flicker between Jenny and Kate, searching for any signs of what just happened. She knew Kate was upset about the trip, but sometimes it was easier to pretend she doesn't notice than to invite more drama. Yeah, sorry about that, Jenny says quickly. My mom thought she ate something bad. Her voice is light, but there's a flicker of something else beneath it. Before Sloan can press, Jenny shifts gears. So anyway, tell us more about your trip. Where are you guys going? She walks right up to Sloan and sits down at the chair across from her. Kate re-enters the room, lingering near the doorway, arms crossed, displeasure practically radiating off of her. We're going to Santa Monica, Sloan replies quietly, combing her hair behind her ear. I've never been before. Ferris knows I hate the snow, so he planned for a warm vacation to get us out of here. It was all his idea, so he'll have more of the details. She looks over at Ferris, now seated next to her on the couch. Ferris hands his dad a beer, then takes a sip of his own and leans back. Yeah, I don't have too much planned yet, but I thought we'd escape the dreaded Milwaukee winter and soak up some sun for once. He nodded towards the window where thick clumps of snow swirl in the wind before reaching over and gently grabbing Sloan's hand. Sloan glances down at their intertwined fingers, a soft smile forming as warmth blooms in her chest. But even in the comfort of this moment, she can feel Kate's disapproval lingering like a heavy cloud that refuses to pass. That sounds amazing, Jenny jumps in quickly. What do you think, Mom? Doesn't that sound fun? Her voice is too chipper, eyes flicking towards Kate with the hope that a simple question might smooth over the crack in the room. Ted shifts slightly in his chair, his gaze fixed on his wife. He raises his eyebrows, just enough to signal, go easy, try to be happy. But it's clear he's bracing himself. After almost 30 years of marriage, he knows her moods, her tells. He knows exactly where this could be headed. When Kate answers, "Yeah, it sounds great," with a snap of sarcasm, Ted exhales. Just barely. For a split second, it seems like that might have been the end of it. But then he catches the sudden shift of her expression. She gasps. His shoulders stiffen. Here it comes. "Maybe we should all go." Her somber mood instantly flips to excitement, making her way to the front of the room. Sloan tenses. Every instinct screams at her to shut the idea down, but she hesitates. It's not her place. Kate has always been dismissive of her. Why would this moment be any different? Hey, drama lovers, you asked and it's finally happening. My brand new book, Here Comes the Drama, A Ferris and Sloan Story, is now available for pre-order. It's the story of the couple everyone fell in love with online, Ferris and Sloan, caught in the middle of family feuds, broken boundaries, and yes, Kate barging in when she definitely wasn't invited. And here's the best part. If you're on my email list, you get part 1 completely free to read right now. Just click the link in the show notes to sign up and dive in today. The full book launches June 12th, and trust me, you're not ready for what's coming next. Okay, so one of the top questions you guys ask me is, with the audiobook coming, if I'm going to be the voice of the audiobook. And I've talked about this before, but if you can hear my reading while I read it, that is probably why I'm not doing the audiobook. I feel like I overthink every little thing. So even with like edits and stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not like a voice actor. It's so much easier for me to like talk about something than read off something, and I just put so much pressure on myself. By this time, I might have more updates on the audiobook. So if you guys are waiting for that, that will be coming out soon. I will be sharing updates on the audiobook in email as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed that little segment. Like I said, if you already read part 1 because you downloaded it, you've already read that, but it's kind of fun just to hear it in a voice as well. So like I said, if you already pre-ordered the ebook, that has been sent to you already. And then you can order the print books today. And I just ask if you guys want to share any kind of update. If you enjoy the book, share what you're doing while you read the book. Share a picture of it on your counter. Share a video of you opening it up from the mail, whatever that looks like. I would love to see you guys reading the book, posting about it, and then, of course, tag me, and I would love to reshare it to my page. Just the more people that can see the book, it would really help me and help the book. So very excited for it. And of course, if you love the book, please leave a review. That helps so many more people hear about it as well. I know that was all about Ferris and Sloan. I'm just so excited for the launch, but let's dive into the crazy drama that is this week. So first things first, I'm going to get into some hot takes that you guys sent me. The first one says, people should always know that the spouse comes first. The rest can go to hell. Okay. So I wouldn't say that so dramatically, I guess. Essentially, I agree. I feel like once you choose a spouse and a partner and you are on the same page, they should be your priority, especially, when it comes to planning a wedding or planning an event or relationship boundaries. Figure them out with your partner first. Then you can allow in other opinions and other people. Otherwise, it gets very misconstrued. It gets overwhelming to listen to all these opinions. And it's like, oh, do I listen to my partner or my mom or whatever? You really need to put your partner before everybody. This says cost of the ring doesn't matter. It's the memories attached to it that make it feel special. I 100% agree. I feel like there used to be, and people will probably say this is still a thing, but it used to be a certain percentage of your rent or your income, and they would tell you like you have to spend that on an engagement ring. And I say throw that out the door. I don't think that should be a thing anymore. I think it's really about what's important for the partner. I've seen people do just a very simple ring with no jewels on it. I've seen people do just a rubber ring. I've seen people do a huge diamond on it. I've seen people do a sapphire or other kind of jewels on it. I think it's really important to listen to yourself because you're going to be the one wearing it. And I think so many times we get caught up in what everyone else says you have to wear or have to spend. And that none of that, no matter what anyone says, none of that dictates or says anything about your relationship. It doesn't. Only you guys know what makes sense. I feel like it's just so easy to get caught up. And that goes for anything when it comes to wedding planning. So ultimately, I don't think it matters. Don't go broke and don't go into debt for a wedding ring, essentially. This person says, do they really need bachelorette weekends? I think it's a waste of money. Okay, so here's my thing. When it comes to how you spend your money, everyone views things differently, right? I might buy this shirt and someone might see that and be like, that's a waste of money. I might upgrade my car and someone might think that's a waste of money. I might hear someone got new tires and I'm like, that's a waste of money. So it's like everyone's going to have their own viewpoints. When it comes to bachelor parties, do some of them go very over the top? Of course. But would I want to be on one of those trips? Absolutely. If I could be a part of it, yeah, I would want to go to it. Are they always needed? No. But if that's something you value and you're like, you know what, I want a really fun trip away with my best guy friends or my best girlfriends, whoever, more power to you. Do it. Go ahead. Now, where I feel like it might be too much is when you pressure bridesmaids and groomsmen to go on a trip they might not be able to afford. That's where it gets a little murky. I don't think that should be a thing. There should never be pressure. If you want it, allow people to say no. We all value different things. For myself and for my closest group of friends, we were all in each other's weddings. So for us, it was like a girls' trip away. So I would never look at that as a waste of money because I'm on vacation with some of my very best friends. So to me, it was worth it, well worth it. Now, if someone were to invite me where maybe I didn't really know the group of friends, or I only knew one person, or it was to a place I wouldn't really want to go, I would just say no. So again, we all have our own kind of preferences with that. Okay, this other one says overly detailed dress codes with color schemes are unnecessary. Yes and no. So I was talking to someone on the podcast recently about this, and it's kind of helpful to know sometimes. Now, where they get very specific, like everyone needs to wear a garden dress wearing only these three colors, yeah, like we don't need to go out and spend more money. If I'm going to a wedding, I'm usually going to look in my closet and find something that I've already worn, but maybe fits the weather or the kind of location we're going to. So let's not ask people to spend more money. However, some people find it very useful if you're giving them kind of a very basic idea of what to wear. We're all different. We're all different for what we look for. I think it can be helpful because I'm that person Googling the location. I'm trying to check out the weather, what other people are wearing there in other pictures. Like I am that person. I think probably way too much about it. Do I buy a new dress for every wedding? Absolutely not. Most of the time I will find a dress I have or borrow one from a friend. But that being said, I love a good detail to help me along the way. Craving more wedding drama? Join my wedding party Patreon for Here Comes the Drama After Dark. Each month we dive into juicy confessions, wedding 911 advice, and the spiciest hot takes. And of course, we always end with a wild wedding story reacting in real time. From bridesmaids to groomsmen, mother-in-law madness to photographer fails, every month has a new theme. Patreon members get early access to all regular episodes and an exclusive chat to discuss the drama. Don't just hear the drama, be a part of it. Join now. Okay, guys, into the story that you guys are all patiently or not so patiently waiting for. I know it's the favorite part. This is a long one, so that's why I want to get into it. All names have been changed, of course, and different story things have been moved around to disguise the person, right? And I forgot to mention this before, but my voice is scratchy. So this is after pre-launch weekend. I randomly lost my voice. I don't know if I was talking too much, probably. So it was completely gone for a few days there. It's slowly coming back. So I'm definitely gonna nurse it after this. All right, here's this week's story submission. This story spans the course of a couple years. Here we go. The bride, Pearl, her fiance, Greg, myself, Amy, my fiance, Steven, Pearl's brother, Lars, and his fiance, Sadie, are all the main players in this drama. Okay, I'm already picturing this as a very detailed story. So here we go. Pearl and Greg were engaged to be married, and I was asked to be one of her bridesmaids. Their engagement was especially long because Pearl was working abroad in Japan for 2 years. Trying to plan anything with her was a nightmare. She didn't want to be involved in the process at all. Wait, so the bride didn't want to be involved in the process. So at that point, I know I'm jumping the gun, but at that point, why are you doing a big wedding? You don't need a wedding party. You don't need to do this big wedding. If you don't want to be involved in planning your own wedding, either hire a wedding planner or don't do it. You don't have to do that craziness. She even admitted that she would have preferred a simple courthouse wedding, but reluctantly agreed to have a ceremony for Greg's sake, so her fiance. Once Pearl finally returned home, we had about 6 months until the wedding, so we kicked into planning mode. The only part she really cared about was the bachelorette party. She's a big partier. She wanted a big, elaborate weekend in Vegas, 4 nights in a hotel, a show every night, a club crawl, and a spa day. Okay, so we were kind of just talking about bachelorette parties, right? How they can be over the top. Again, if I was going with all my best friends and I wanted to do this, I would go along for it, obviously, to support and celebrate my best friend. But I always find it interesting when they want the top of the top, all the things like 4 shows in Vegas, 4 nights in a hotel, a club crawl, and a spa day. That is expensive. I mean, I haven't been to Vegas in years, but just quickly add things up depending on the weekend. I mean, you're looking at a few $1,000s, right? Depending on what everything looks like. Here we go. The issue, the budget. No one she invited had even half the amount of money needed for that kind of trip, and she expected everyone to cover her costs in full. The maid of honor, Connie, did her best to plan something we could all afford, but after weeks of being shut down on every compromise, she passed the baton to another bridesmaid. So her maid of honor is essentially like, hey, look, this isn't going to work out. No one can afford it. Let's try this. And she's like, nope, you're not doing a good job. Let's have another bridesmaid plan it. Like, what? The final bachelorette weekend still included a hotel in Vegas paid for by Pearl's aunt, a drag brunch, and a bar crawl in downtown Vegas. We did our best with what we had, and it ended up being a fun weekend, except Pearl pouted the entire time. She cried in the bar bathroom, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Now, obviously, we don't know why she's crying. My guess is it wasn't to her standard, maybe. But here's the thing, if there's someone that wants this extra grand thing that no one can afford, she's never going to be happy. You need to find happiness with those around you. If I were with my best friends just having a sleepover at someone's house, that would be fun to me. I don't need all these grand things. So this sounds like this person just wanted this huge thing and kept comparing herself. On the wedding day, Pearl and Greg were completely standoffish with the bridal party, even though we had bent over backward to accommodate them. She skipped the original dress rehearsal, then rescheduled for a day when most people weren't available, only to get mad when half of us couldn't come. Oh my gosh. Wait, so this is for the dress rehearsal? Wait, so we're talking about the rehearsal before the wedding? I'm so confused. Okay. On the day of the wedding, we were told for the first time that we'd be decorating the venue. Oh gosh, with only 4 hours left before the ceremony and needing to get dressed and take photos. So literally the day of, she's like, by the way, I need you guys to decorate this whole place for me. Here's the decorations, have fun. And they're like, wait, we still have to get ready and get all this stuff together. This is definitely a type B or C bride, as you want to call it. She didn't want to do the planning herself, so she left it up to everybody else, and that's just not fair. Like I said from the beginning, if you are a bride or groom and you do not want to plan anything, either get a day of coordinator, wedding planner, or don't have a big wedding. Because at the end of the day, it's not fair to your bridal party or wedding party to do this for you. They're not the ones getting married. They can be there helping and support you, but do not put this on them. Connie and I ended up doing shots in the bridal suite just to cope with the chaos. Despite all of that, the ceremony went smoothly and guests seemed to have a great time. But afterward, Pearl and Greg told us that we ruined their wedding. What? That sparked a long, drawn-out falling out. So they're putting all the pressure on their wedding party to make it this amazing wedding when literally it's their wedding. You cannot blame the wedding party for doing that. Because as the bride and groom, it is your day. It's your job to organize everything or find someone that will organize it, not your wedding party. And if that fails, that's on you. 2 months later, Stephen and I got engaged. Most of our friends were thrilled for us, except Pearl. She was visibly jealous and made comments like, why is everyone so excited for them? No one was that excited for us, which wasn't true. And why is everyone helping with their wedding when no one helped us? Also not true. So she's doing that victim mentality. She's thinking her wedding sucked, so you know what? Everyone's out to get me. When in reality, they all were helping, but she literally said she didn't want anything to do with the planning of the wedding. So she's putting it all on her friends for how her wedding day turned out. Things escalated when she found out we had invited Pamela, someone she had unresolved issues with. Pamela is a close friend of Steven's. I had several conversations with Pearl about it and even offered to make some accommodations, like seating them on opposite sides of the room or ensuring that she was surrounded by friends. I even offered to uninvite them. She refused to tell me what she needed, so ultimately nothing changed. So that's the thing. It's like, it's hard when you have two friends that don't get along. However, you can't dictate who someone else invites to their wedding. So you can choose yourself, like, hey, I'm not going to go, but you can't get mad that they're still friends with someone. Obviously, there's always complicated and different reasons for things, but it's not your place to tell them who to invite. One night at a bar, Pearl, completely drunk, cornered me and interrogated me about why Pamela was invited and why I hadn't made her a bridesmaid, even though I asked Connie. I got away that night, but the next day, we had a 5-hour text conversation. 5 hours! Oh my gosh. I don't think I'd have a 5-hour text conversation with anybody. That sounds exhausting. Why? Oh my gosh. I finally set a boundary and said I wouldn't talk about it anymore. Pearl and Greg pulled their RSVP. I thought that would be the end of it. Can you imagine? That is crazy. So they're just mad about their own wedding day not being what they wanted. And because they can't take the responsibility themselves, that, you know what, they let it slip through their fingers, they're going to blame everybody else. Okay, she says, wrong. Over the next 4 months, Pearl and Greg excluded Stephen and me from events, harassed our mutual friends, and gave people ultimatums. If they attended our wedding, they'd no longer be friends. Can you imagine? Oh my gosh. So it's like just what I said, how you can only control yourself. You can't control someone else has at their wedding or where other people want to go. So these just sound like very nasty people to me. The group was exhausted by their drama. Our entire friend group was split. I was convinced Pearl would show up uninvited to my wedding and just cause a scene, but thankfully she didn't. After our wedding, Lars and Sadie got engaged. Everyone in the group got an invite except Stephen and me. Whoa, I expected that considering Lars is Pearl's brother. Okay. What I didn't expect was for Pearl and Greg to privately message people asking them not to attend Sadie's wedding because they were uncomfortable. Wait. Oh my gosh. So they asked people to not attend the wedding? Oh my gosh. These people are just miserable. Pearl also made herself the unofficial wedding planner. Wait, someone that didn't want to plan her own wedding was complaining about things and pushing it off on her wedding party wants to be the unofficial wedding planner. Okay. And started making decisions without consulting the couple. For example, she changed the rehearsal dinner from the Mexican restaurant Lars and Sadie loved to an Italian place just because it offered free wine. No, 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 no. The kicker, the reception the next day was also serving Italian food. But I'm also wondering, how do you let someone just change everything? I'm not saying it's them, like their fault, but like when I was planning different things, no one could just call a restaurant. The restaurant would be like, okay, random person I haven't talked to before. They'd be like, oh, is this the bride or groom? No. Okay, then sorry, you can't change it. Plus, the bride or groom is the one that's putting together RSVPs or invites to the rehearsal dinner or texting people. So that's very interesting that they just kind of like let her make all these changes. She also planned a huge, expensive bachelorette weekend when Sadie had just wanted a nice dinner and a video game night. While we weren't invited to the wedding itself, Stephen and I were invited to the after party. I chose not to go. I had no doubt Pearl would cause a scene. She says so maybe take some creative license and show what would have happened if I had gone. Thanks again. I left out a bunch of little details, but feel free to reach out if you've any questions. Oh my gosh. It never ceases to amaze me when people just can't take accountability themselves. From the beginning, it sounds like this girl wanted nothing to do with her wedding. And instead of hiring someone to help her, she decided to put it all on her wedding party. Now, I've seen a lot of weddings and I've been a part of a lot of weddings where the wedding party helps put everything together. But that's been like known from the beginning. And it's a team effort, right? You can't just be like bride putting your feet up and expecting everyone to do everything around you. You have to be very clear with communication. And it sounds like this girl from the beginning was just unhappy and just wanted to complain about things. So that's terrible. Oh my gosh, that was a crazy story. All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out with me today. As a reminder, my new book, And ignore this. This is my proof right here if you guys are watching the video. But my new book, Here Comes the Drama, A Ferris and Sloan Story, is out today. If you guys want to look exactly different places that you can find it, go to kristaennis.com/book. We will also have all the links in the show notes as well, so you can check it out. And of course, don't forget to tag me at Party Planning by Krista. Videos, pictures. I want to see what you're doing when you read the book. I want to see you opening up the package. I want to see you holding the book in front of your face, whatever that looks like. Tag me and I will be sharing it on my page as well. And of course, leave a review as it helps so many people see the book, hear about the book. And I'm just so excited for you guys to read it. I'm nervous, excited. It's like putting a baby out into the world. I've worked so hard at it and I'm just so excited for you guys to read it. All right, guys, that's all I have for this week. Thanks for tuning in. Bye now.